Alrighty, looks like we are live. Hello everyone. Thank you so much for being here for yet another Moonshire Monday. New Moonshire Monday, new month, and finally a new video. Yes, it's about time. Man, I've been working on that most recent devlog for so long. It's unreal. I wrote the script over a month ago. And the problem is I've just been working on like getting this film set up a lot better, and I had to get new lights and was working on getting just a whole new way of editing things. So it was a lot of work to figure out and get everything up and running. But thank you all for being here. Thanks for the patience. It took me another couple minutes to set up because I was again trying to figure out my camera situation, but I'm here now. We got a lot of people in chat. We got sorry, one second, let me pull up the better chat window. I have a nice little chat display for myself. Okay, there it is. We got Zeta, Saunders, we got Foxite, Nicholas, Yolvin, Kisu, Blocks. Thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate that. Once again, no plans in particular for this Moonshire Monday, but we're gonna chill, we're gonna hang out, and we're gonna play some video games. We got Red Orb, Guillerme. Hello. Thank you all for being here. You're very, very kind for being here. Ravy, you said sorry I'm late. You're not late at all. You are not late at all. I just went live. So I'm gonna change the camera to this. That is really nice. I added that feature recently where you can change the zoom in, the field of view from this, and I can change it down to be really zoomed in. So this is really nice for streaming and stuff, right? Because I can see everything really clearly in the video. The XC2 music, yeah. I didn't actually play XC2. I played Xenoblade Chronicles 1 and Xenogears, but I didn't play Chronicles 2 because when the first trailer came out and I saw how some of the characters look, I'm like, maybe this isn't quite for me. But it does look like I would like it, and I listened to the whole soundtrack, and I love the soundtrack. How did I make the interactions with the grass? Oh yeah. So you can like push the grass over. Same with the sunflower over here. Yeah, that is. Let's see. I think I can actually pull up the distance between. How did I do this? Maybe it was plant distance. Yeah, here it is. So all it's doing is calculating the distance between the plant itself and the player. And then if it's less than the push like distance threshold, so all that means is if you're like this flower, if you're close enough to the flower, then it's going to apply like a push angle to it. And that gets calculated right here, where we got the molt. That tells us whether it's going to push left or right. And then we have this dest val, which is like, that's where the angle of the grass needs to be. And this is the difference. So it's going to start rotating it. I think it uses a tween. No, it just uses like a rot speed. So it increases or decreases the push val just depending on how far or near to the dest val it is. Molt. No. Molt just means molt. Like multiplier, I think is what I mean. I bet I have the word molt in this file or in this game in 100 different places. Yeah, there's one here too. Combo molt. Yeah, I use the word molt a lot. How many sprites are you using? Quite a few. I mean, for the plants or for the grasses, I think that each of these only have 2 different sprites. So there's one blade of grass for behind and one blade of grass in front. Did I create barriers so the player doesn't advance through the map without talking to NPCs? Well, yeah, so kind of. So let's play through the early game so I can show that. But yes, there are barriers. The game is set up in like sort of a linear way at first, and it gets less linear over time. Sorry, I need to remix the audio sounds. Because some sounds, or some songs are just naturally louder, and you can hear them better than other songs, excuse me. I still need to fix this thing where, I can't skip it. I used to be able to skip it, and for some reason it just stopped working. Did I make the game art myself? No, a lot of the game art is made by, some people that I commissioned. But I did a lot of edits myself, and, a lot of the sprites are made by me, like... let's see. The player was made by me, and a lot of the objects. Let's see. Any of the weapons, a lot of the enemies, a lot of some of the characters, and then like I make my own edits to every single sprite. That looks really weird right now. But anyway, it's a mixture of me making my own sprites and other people helping me out. And then utilizing open source or paid asset packs. The menu background is not pre-rendered. It is in-engine, it's an animation. So it's not a video or anything. Is it the same framework as Balatro? Yes, it's the same one. Thank you all again for being here. This is the first fight of the game, and I have been trying to decide how many enemies I want to put in this fight, because since it's the first one, I think it needs to be really, really easy so that people can pass it. But that's kind of what I mean. So did you see right there? There was a barrier. This gate was closed, and you can't pass through this gate until you beat that enemy, and then the gate opens. What I used to make the pixel art, I use a sprite. That's what I used to do all my edits. These these controls are not even accurate anymore. I need to change how the tutorials are displayed. I know you probably hear this a lot, but the game looks really good. Thank you, I appreciate that. My own game with my own fantasies. Yeah, like that's the thing, is that I played a lot of games like this growing up, especially like Zelda games, and that's like a huge inspiration in the type of stuff that I wanted to make myself. You think of joining the hackathon? Nice, that'd be awesome. You should do it. Any tips for learning shaders? Ooh, that's tough. The only real advice I have is, let me find the article that I used. So, Love 2D shaders. There's this article that the creator of Move or Die wrote up. So this article here, you can try and find it. I think that the URL is in frame. Let me make sure. But this little guide here, it goes through a lot of the basics, and pretty much everything I know about shaders came from this article, and which isn't very much is the thing. This article is not very long, but I think it demonstrates a lot of the like key fundamentals of it, and having this sample code is really nice too. So this gave me the fundamentals in place to get started with it, but then from there, it really has been me just working with it on my own to figure out a lot of the difficult aspects of it, because I was talking about it in an earlier stream how, like, this code that I wrote here for multi-true light, it's very possible that my implementation is just dumb and bad. But I don't know, because I'm all self-taught. Everything that I know about shaders came from this article, and then just me messing around with the shaders for Moonshire. That's all my experience with shaders. It's kind of rough. What article is it? Yeah, it's, I'll show it again real quick. Beginner's Guide to Shaders. All I did was search for Love 2D shaders on Google or whatever, and this is one of the first results. The thing is, it's so old. He wrote this 11 years ago. 11 years ago. But the funny thing is that a lot of the fundamentals haven't changed since then. It's like all this code is still the exact same, as far as I know, today as it was back then. Can I make a multiplayer version? Well, that's something that I'm working on, and I have the like internet connection aspect of it set up, but it's still gonna take a while to to fully get working. Echo, hi, welcome in. Isn't it like modified C or C++? If you're talking about Love 2D, it's written in C++ or maybe even C, but all the languages that you use as a user, everything is it's all just Lua. Oh, ever since the reschedule, you've been busy? I'm sorry to hear that. Fortunately, most people are having a better time with this time, including myself. The only thing I need to work on is getting fully set up right before the stream, because I ended up having to like frantically get things ready, and I keep having problems with like the camera or the bot. I always have something that's not working quite right, so I apologize again for being late. I need to be better at being on time. How about when do you think you're going to be releasing a new update? I keep guessing wrong. I keep saying 1 month from now, and that's what my answer would be today, but you know, who knows? I don't want to make any more false promises. It's so... It makes me look like a liar, but the truth is I'm being serious when I keep saying I think I can have it done within 1 month. I do genuinely think that I can do it, but then it just keeps not happening. Also, there's kind of some bugs with this, these enemies being on fire. When he dies, he like flies away in a weird way. That looks okay. It's my second Moonshire Monday that I've been able to catch live. Awesome! Was it the last one you saw was the very first one? Cool. It's come a long way since then. Not really. I guess it's only been, I wonder how many months, like 4 or maybe 5 months since I started doing Moonshire Mondays, but I'm enjoying it a lot. And the funny thing is I never really thought that I would enjoy it, because I always have trouble speaking, and I didn't think I'd be able to overcome my stuttering, but I'm doing a lot better. Definitely doing a lot better than I used to. Even going back and watching streams from a few months ago, I feel like I had more of a problem with stuttering frequently, but it's not nearly as bad now. Whoops. Oh, this is so buggy. Look, the flame is out, but I can still shoot freaking flames. I talked about that last stream. I need to fix that. I'm going to give myself a different weapon. The music is low? Oh yeah, you're right. Yeah, this is a kind of a quiet song too. Thanks for pointing that out though. I need to keep an eye on it. I have OBS open on my screen, and I just have to like... Oh, actually, I have a better idea. Sorry, give me 1 second. I need to readjust my setup so I can see more stuff. Okay, we're gonna move this over here, and then... Sorry, give me 1 moment. Okay, sorry about that. I wanted to make sure I could see everything. Drink water, thank you. I will drink water after I slay these enemies. Getting the dodge timing is really fun. Something I want to do is make it a little bit more obvious where the player's iframes are. So maybe we can try that in the stream today, is test out like making the player somewhat transparent while rolling, or some kind of tell. Something that makes it a little bit more clear. Like right there, when you take damage like this, the player flashes, so it's pretty clear that you're invincible during that time. Blend the texture of the bridges with the floor texture. Oh yeah, that would look better. You're talking about the ones in the ice area, I think. Oh, actually, I think there's something in these boxes. I keep forgetting. Yeah, there's one seed. How do I make shadows? That's a good question. I haven't shown that before. Shadows. So shadows, there's a few parts to this. Let me pull up all parts to it. Because there's also... I have a whole section of sprites in my game called shadows. I wish I could make this bigger, but Windows sucks with making things bigger. Here, I'll use the zoom function. There we go. Okay. So what you can see here is there's just a whole bunch of different sprites, and they're just like white blobs. They're just like white circles. And these are all the shadows. If I like open up this one, all it is, it's just a white blob. Like that's all it is. So that's what these shadows are, is they're just white blobs. And then here, whenever you draw a shadow, so like here it's iterating through every single NPC, and for each NPC, it's going to figure out what shadow is appropriate for that NPC, which in this case, every NPC has a shadow sprite property, and then it loads the sprite in here, and then it just draws the sprite for that shadow. But like I was showing, they're all white blobs, but so that's why it does a love.graphics.set color here. It's set to like dark gray and semi-transparent. So that's how the shadows work. Where's Allfather? I'm sure he'll be here. You can add a blink particle effect that lasts the duration of the roll. Yeah, that's what I was thinking. And actually, let's try that right now. Give me 1 second. I need to get my water. See, the problem with my setup is that I used to be able to reach onto my desk to grab stuff, but now I have to actually kind of get up. Okay, so what I was going to do is I've actually implemented this once before, where if I go to, actually 1 second, I needed to commit this. Background, high-res, update, sky, title 2. This is something that me and Tony were working on earlier. Okay, and then we're going to, what was I going to do? Oh yeah, the roll, player move. So there's a roll function here. Yeah, here it is, look. So this is what I was just talking about, or what Wolf just, excuse me, stuttering too much. This is what Wolf was just suggesting here. Adds a damage flash only while rolling to signal iframes. So what this does is that when the player gets damaged, like if I go into the water and I sink, the player's gonna be flashing damage like this. He's flashing. And all that I'm doing here in this line is adding that same flashing. It's just called roll invincibility. Or actually, no, roll invincibility time and then damage timer. So while you're rolling, the damage timer is going to just match the exact number of frames that you're rolling for, actually, is this hard-coded? This is not the best way to do this. Roll invincibility time. Where's the set? 0.37? I don't know if that's the exact right number of frames, though, is the problem. Let me see. Player anim. Give me 1 moment while I figure this out, and then we're going to demonstrate it. So the roll animation, roll, here it is. So the roll animation is 5 frames long, and I could just make it so that the player's invincible. Well, no, because I need to manually set the time. Let's just hard code it. I don't think it's that big of a problem. So right now the player should be invincible for, that's 0.18, 0.25, 0.32, and 0.42. I'm going to change this to 0.42 because I think that I buffed the roll a little bit. Unless the last frame of the animation isn't supposed to do that. Sorry that I'm not checking chat for a moment. I want to figure this out. So all that I'm thinking about right now is I'm trying to figure out which frames the player should be invincible for during the roll. And I think that these are the different frames we got. So the roll is down here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then the last frame of the roll is actually a stand-up frame. I think it's this one. So I don't think that we want to be invincible the last frame. How about we make it so that it's 1825.32. I'm going to change this to 0.32. So you're only invincible for 0.32 seconds. But I do think that this is going to work where the player's going to start flashing damage. Is that the PS5 in the background? Yep, it is. So excited to play this when this comes out. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm excited to release it. It's going to be fun. So what we should see now is... Ooh. Actually, I kind of like that. It's really subtle. It's actually, it's very subtle on the stream. It's very subtle on stream. I actually think that I think it looks good, but it's hard for you guys to see it on stream. But I think it'll help people with seeing where the iframes are. I think it's gonna help people understand that you're invincible while rolling, because you become semi-transparent while you're rolling. Did I make every UI in my game? Yeah, I made every single thing. It's been annoying, but yeah, all this stuff, it's like, all of this is programmed exactly by me. All the well, the icons I had help from Ellie a little bit, but I reshaped them and recolored everything and reorganized everything. I came up with the layout and I coded everything. Everything's functional because of me, and it was a big pain in the butt. Why don't you stream other days in the week? I don't know. I could probably start doing that, but the thing is, I don't want to overburden myself. I don't want to become burned out. So right now, doing once a week is working pretty nicely for me. Gotta admit, sinking into water is a little bit weird. It happens so fast, I can't really tell what happened. So when I understand that, and when you're playing the game, when the game starts, you start in this area where there's like this water and waterfall, and the first time it happens, I expect people to realize, oh, well, I just sunk really fast and I took damage. I probably should be more careful around water. But this area, you have there's nowhere to go. You have to go through water in some way or another, but you also will sink if you stay in the water for too long. That's why I added this little section here. It's like meant to teach you that you can be in water for a moment to cross little gaps, but you're not meant to be in it for too long until you get the item that lets you swim. There's an item where you won't be able to sink anymore. You'll be able to swim forever. Do I have a digital notebook? I don't. Well, kind of. I have an iPad that I have some map designs on, but all of my notes for ideas and stuff, well, I guess I also have my OneNote docs. It's a combination of my iPad, my OneNote, and then I have multiple physical notebooks that I just jot ideas down constantly. But I don't go back and reference those. For me, the act of actually writing something down helps me internalize it, so I don't normally have to revisit those notes. It's just enough to write it down. Have I ever played Baldur's Gate 3? Yeah, me and my friend are in the middle of a run right now. We're on Act 2. Actually, we're probably finishing up Act 2 soon. I recently upgraded my Milanote to Pro, the best versions ever. Oh, cool. You know what? I haven't really seen anything about Milanote for a while. What program did I draw, paint the backgrounds and sprites? So I use a Sprite, but I get a lot of help with the sprites because I don't make all of them myself. I make some of them myself, but some of them I get help with from Ellie or Tony, and then, but yeah, any work that I do myself, I'm gonna do it during or doing it here in a Sprite is what the program is called. Can you show us some of the notebook, please? Nope. Does the burned out torch still shoot fire? Yes, as a bug. It's not supposed to. Let's actually fix that. Let's fix that right now. It's not supposed to do that. I don't remember how, because I had this fix at one point. Torch. So I probably added some kind of, yeah, needs fire. So I already have it configured where you need fire in order to attack. So let me see what I did with this. I must have broke it. If player.attack that needs fire and not Kerwepta on fire. Oh, yeah. I screwed this up. Maybe? Actually, I think what I want to do with this is make it so chargeless attack is drop. So this is what we're gonna do. This is what we're gonna do. We're going to... Oh, this is specifically for chargeless attack. I need to reorder this because I think that I'm misunderstanding the priority of this line. This is specifically for cases where we have a chargeless attack for the weapon. And a chargeless attack, that just means that the weapon can attack when you don't have fire. But in this case, I just got rid of the chargeless attack for this. So maybe I should add it back. But I wanted to make it so that when you, I wanted to make it so when you attack without fire, you just drop the torch. W.chargeless attack. I think I want to make this, I'm gonna say drop. So this is gonna be a little bit of a hacky solution. I'm sorry that I haven't been checking chat. I'm trying to do multiple things at once. I think the animation for iframes is not necessary. In Souls, there's nothing like that. Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's necessary, but anything to help clarify it is nice. A game like Tunic, it also doesn't have like transparency, but it does have a tell. In Tunic, when you roll, there's dust particles along the ground, and you're invincible while those dust particles are being generated, but while they're not being generated, you're not invincible. So I think some kind of tell is nice, but I'll have to think about it. But what I was going to do with this is I want to make it so that when you don't have fire on your torch, you just drop the torch and use a regular attack. Maybe I don't even need this. I'm going to change this to... Whoops. So then else, I think we're going to say like, what should I do? I can't remember how I should do this. Drop? Drop weapon? I can try this. I don't know what's gonna happen when I do this though. It's probably gonna be really weird. I think I'm gonna recall this. So it's gonna be like a recursive function. Oop, wrong one. Wrong spot. And then return nil. Okay. So what we're testing here is I want to make it so... Here, another thing I'm going to change is so that we load into file 4 immediately, because I don't need to go to the main menu every single time. Have I played Minecraft? Yeah, I played Minecraft. In fact, on the Discord server, we had a Minecraft server specifically for the server. Okay, so what we're testing out is I wanted to make it so that the torch just drops. Okay, it worked. It worked. So if you have a torch, and it's not lit, and you attack, you just drop the torch, and you can just regularly attack. But if you have a torch and it is on fire, then you attack with it. I think it's a lot better. Have I tried Scratch? Yeah, actually, while I was working at Microsoft, I taught a high school class on Scratch. We're 2 years away from the PS6, can you believe it? It feels like the PS5 generation hasn't even started yet. I'm not very happy with how this generation... That looks so bad. I'm not very happy with how this generation is going. It's not very interesting. That looks so bad. I need to fix that. When the enemy dies and like jerks around like that's strange. Oh, we already showed this because I didn't save. Every other person has... Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I was more impressed by the PS4 generation. Well, actually, I think everyone should be more impressed by the PS4 generation. I mean, they're still putting out games for it. How does the particle system work? Yeah, so the particle system is a little bit hacky because there's different types of particles. I'll show some in a second. Because there's... How about the enemy particles? When you hit an enemy, a bunch of, like, stuff... Like, look at the white dots that fly off of the enemy. Or when the player gets hurt. A bunch of white dots fly off of you. And that is just spawning a whole bunch of individual effects, and all of those have its own logic. Which I think I can show that real quick. Effect I think these are just called damage. Yeah, damage. This is not the, this is the effect. So all these are is it chooses a direction and then it fluxes itself, or sorry, it tweens itself over to the like destination point, and it's also like scaling up and just drawing itself with, looks like it's just the white circles, yeah. And every particle is like that. I have other particles too, because I also have like these particles. When you shoot or when you break one of these pots, all of those things are kind of like particles too. Oh, jeez. And the thing is, all the stuff that like sits on the ground, all of that stuff is a different type of particle that I call debris. So this is its own particle system, because the behavior of like these wood pieces, it's unique to the particles of when you hit an enemy or a character like this, like those damage particles. It's different than the type of particles that you would use for breaking a box. How do you keep yourself motivated? I don't know. It helps a lot having a community. I'm really thankful for you guys for helping keep me on track. Have I heard of object pooling? Object pooling. I don't think I have heard of object pooling before. Let's get myself a weapon so I can complete this. Yeah, you can't kill the NPCs, but you can hit them, because I think that would be the reason why I let you hit NPCs is because you used to not be able to. They were just like intangible and you couldn't touch them at all. And I thought it would be funny if you could hit them, so you can now. Ah. What game am I most excited for? Dewdrop Dynasty and Subnautica 2. I'm excited for Dewdrop Dynasty as well. What would I be most excited for? I guess GTA 6 if that does actually come out this year. That'd be pretty cool. But whoops, Jesus, so buggy. But besides that, I actually don't. What else is coming out this year? Probably a lot of Nintendo games. I'm gonna say my most anticipated games for 2025 are literally any Nintendo games, because I think the Switch 2 is gonna come out this year. Hopefully, I mean, it might not, but if it does, then any game that releases for that is probably going to be my answer. Moonshire's coming out. Moonshire's coming out in 2025. I mean, if it does, that would be a miracle. Let's be honest. Oh, Xenoblade Chronicles X, cool. Yeah, I didn't play that one. Yeah, I just played Xenogears, and then I played Xenoblade Chronicles 1. I love Xenoblade Chronicles 1. In fact, when I played Xenoblade I need to stop speaking so fast. When I played Xenoblade Chronicles 1, I loved it so much at the time. I was in college, and it was like a top 10 game for me. I loved it that much. There's music from that game in my playlist here. I use a lot of Xenoblade music in my videos. Someone in chat knows what Xenogears is. I'm surprised. I feel like Xenogears is not well known at all. And also, like, I shouldn't even put them in the same category. Like, is Xenogears actually related to the Xenoblade Chronicles series at all? Because I don't think it's a Monolith Soft game. I think that Xenogears is just a Squaresoft game. I did an awesome job with this game. It looks beautiful. Did I make all the Love 2D draw logic? Wait. Did I make all the Love 2D draw logic? Yeah, I made it all myself, and a lot of it comes from a specific file, which I'll show real quick. Sprite Manager. So the way that this works is geez, I need to stop stuttering. I'm sorry about that. It iterates through every single item type. So every chest, it's going to insert the sprite for that chest into a big table. Same with all the resources, the NPCs, the what else? We got all the enemies. So it just iterates through every object, orders it into a list based on its position, and then draws it at the end. Is there anything specific I'm working on today? Not specifically, no. It's the same devs? Oh, I didn't know that. Ha! That's annoying when that happens. It's like Xenosaga, not related to the same not related, but same devs. Oh, okay. Yeah, I forgot about Xenosaga as well. I never played that. I actually don't know anything about that one. Ah, he's in the water. That's so weird. This fight, I do not like this fight. Actually, I just redid this map and I forgot to export it, so this is an old version of this map. You roll and swing, you get transparency swinging. Oh, you're right. Yeah, what should I do about that? That's too OP. We definitely can't have that. I know. No, I don't. Actually, I do. Okay, I do. I think. Let's see. So when you start attack... Oh, look, look, look. If animation string is roll, player's rolling... No, this still isn't gonna work. Because what I'm afraid of... I think I need a separate invincibility timer for the roll compared to damage timer. Because what I'm afraid of happening... What I'm afraid of happening is undoing the damage flashing when you attack. But I don't want to do that because what if you just got damaged and then you attack right away and then it cancels out your damage flash? I don't want that to happen. So I think I need entirely different... I think I need an entirely different thing for that. Which is kind of annoying, to be honest. Okay, if instead of player damage timer, we're gonna have player maybe it's just like player invincible timer. What should I use this for? Should I call it invincible timer? Or... I'll call it... How about... Yeah, invincible timer. Yeah. Which is better in my opinion, indie or AAA games? Well, I'm personally a fan of indie games, but I think AAA games are just as good as long as you are very selective about the ones that you choose to play, because there's a lot of bad ones. I'm gonna call this invincible timer, and adds damage flash only while rolling. We're gonna say invincible timer, player.roll invincibility time. And then damage timer needs to be adjusted. I was keeping my hand busy by copying more and more characters into the YouTube chat. Uh-oh, that's bad. This page crash, that sucks. Right now, I'm playing FF7 Rebirth. Oh, I love Rebirth. Oh, you're gonna love this. On Saturday, actually, this Saturday, I'm going to a Final Fantasy VII Rebirth symphony concert in St. Louis. It's gonna be amazing. A live performance of Final Fantasy VII Rebirth music. It's gonna be incredible. I'm so excited. What was I gonna do with this? Basically just take what damage timer was doing and also do the same thing with invincible timer. There just needs to be a separation. We're gonna do the same thing. If player.invincible timer. I guess we need to do the same here. Oh wait, this is just from being hurt. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I want to make sure I don't put this in the wrong spot. Why do I look tired? I think it's. I don't know why I look tired. I shouldn't be tired. It's the perfect time of day. And I just ate, so I should be full of energy. So what's next is Invincible timer. I keep getting sidetracked. We don't need any of this. Respawn water, that's fine. That's fine, I think. Banger soundtrack, thanks. I mean, yeah, totally. I like the song choices I have in my playlist. I had to specifically remove the ones that are like intense or like boss music or fight music because it's too intense for a coding stream. Okay, we're gonna do basically the same thing here. If player.invincible timer is greater than 0, yeah, that's all we have to do really. I don't think collision events clear. What does this mean? Man, I don't even know what that does. I don't know why I called that. I don't think this is necessary. I don't think I need to do that. That seems weird. I'm just gonna ignore that. Okay, we're gonna go back to no, Nightbot. Yeah, maybe I should put something like that in. But I mean, you can see my chat. It tells you the song. Need some Blue Dragon. Actually, I haven't played Blue Dragon. I know that we talked about that before, but I haven't played it myself yet. Okay, we don't need any of this stuff. We're going back to Invincible timer, and then I need to keep looking for damage timer spots. I think that's enough to do it, but now we need to go to draw. To player draw. Player draw. Actually, let's put this down here. I'm gonna say else if player dot invincible timer is greater than 0. So this way, at least this is nice. This is a separation because I can change the alpha specifically for the role. So it's like 0.5 right now. We're gonna try that out. How much of the full game will the demo have? I'm not sure yet. I'm still trying to decide how to split that up. My opinion on Godot? Godot seems really good. It seems like it's growing in a very major way, so I want to try out Godot at some point. I want to try it specifically for 3D games. Because if I'm making a 2D game, I'm probably going to stick with Love 2D. I really like it. So let's see. Now the last thing I need to do is player move. Instead of saying... No, yeah, I already did this. Okay, time to try this out. It's hard to decide a demo scope. It is hard to decide that, yeah. Maybe I should disable it as well while Oh yeah, the whole point behind doing this was that you need to become uninvincible while, or when you attack. Because you can like dash attack, and I don't want you to be invincible while you're dash attacking. That's too OP. So when player attack happens, we're going to say player invincible timer equals 0. You only get invincibility while you're rolling. And then when you roll, or what was the... Oh, I already have the roll time set appropriately. And then let's see, I should probably do the same thing when you go into the water. Have I tried any other game engines? Yeah, I used Game Maker for years. Years and years before I switched to Love 2D. So let's go to... Where does this happen? Probably in update? Water? There we go. What size is my main character sprite? Let's see. So it looks like in the tile, or like the animation sheet, each frame is 24 by 24, but the sprite itself, like the pixel size, is only 13 by 16. But each frame is different. Like this one is 16 by 14, but they all fit into the same 24 by 24 grid. How many lines of code is the whole game? I actually don't know. I've shown like some of the bigger files before. Oops, I don't want to show that. But then there's like, I showed new UI a lot. New UI. This file is enormous. I think this is the biggest file in the game. This one is 2,800 lines long. But it's a lot of lines of code, that's for sure. Oh, you're learning about Game Maker or Godot? Yeah, either one sounds great. I really like Game Maker. I think Game Maker is easier to learn, but Godot probably has more features and is able to do more. They're both great choices. But anyway, now we have this invincibility timer option. I think that now, well, I could test it out in combat real quick. Let's make sure that I can't get hurt while I'm rolling. Oh no, that's bad. It's so annoying. So my favorite part about developing my game. So it used to not be level design at all, but now I really do like designing the levels and the layout. I spend so much time thinking about it. Okay, so I can still get hurt, but can I get hurt while I'm rolling? Doesn't look like it. You've been using Game Maker for 2 years and I'm still learning new things about the engine? Oh yeah, that makes sense. So it's been a long time since I used Game Maker full time, but it was mainly when I was like a kid through middle school and through high school. I used it for a long time. That was my biggest exposure. My first experience with game development was through Game Maker, and I loved it. It's really good for, well, it's really good for beginners, but it's good for everyone really, because there's lots of popular games that were made with Game Maker. The song we're listening to right now is from a game made with Game Maker, so it's very obvious that it doesn't really matter. You can just choose whatever you like the best. I think the appeal of Game Maker, or one of the appeals, is that it's a drag and drop coding thing. It's visual scripting, as opposed to, that looked bad, as opposed to like regular coding. Because a lot of people, they see code like this, and it just turns them off of the whole thing because it seems too overbearing. But something like Game Maker, you look at how the scripting is done there, it feels like it's a lot more approachable. But by the way, this code is not that complex. I recommend giving coding a shot if you're interested in it at all, because it's just reading logic. If the player's state is equal to the number 13, then we're going to get the value of infield, and we use this function, and we pass in the player's position. Like, I know it's a lot, but reading code is not as difficult as it might seem. But I do love GameMaker. I think GameMaker is a fantastic engine. Oh, you don't use the visual coding. That's funny because I've never used GML. I never used any of that because I just didn't know it. So I'm not even familiar with that side of GameMaker. I'm sure it's great. A lot of people do use it. I'm just not familiar with it. Then there's me who looks at the code and says, I wish I had a computer so I could do that. My advice, Animatrix, is on my YouTube channel, there's a video for learning Lua. And you can do all of the practice, all of the coding in a browser. So you are tuning into this stream right now. That means you have a phone or a tablet or something that can access the internet. So you can code in your browser. You can open up Google Chrome on your phone or whatever and code along with the video. And I think that will give you some experience with coding until you get access to a computer. What is the engine? Love 2D. Took 13 years to find a French copy of Black and White 2. Nice. I've been wanting to play Black and White 2 because, well, so I already have. I played Black 2 when it came out, but I want to play White 2 because I have the hard mode unlocked for it, and that's just it's such a novel concept for me. A hard mode in an official Pokemon game is very unique. I like that idea. So I want to play White 2 so I can do that. Because I have it, it's on my shelf. I also use AI to learn, ask it what certain actions code do. Yeah, I don't know what my opinions on AI and learning are quite yet. It's going to take me a while to kind of figure out what the best way to do that is. Because I do worry that AI might be used as like a crutch, where you never really take off because you're always reliant on it, but I don't know that for sure. People said the same thing about computers when computers came out. It's like, oh, well, you're doing math problems using a computer. It's not the same as doing it on pen and paper, so it doesn't feel legit. But if AI is the future, I don't know if it is or not, but if it is, then it makes sense to embrace it and use it to its fullest, so I don't really know yet. Have I ever tried Cursor? A bit of a game changer for me. No, I've never heard of that. They use AI for debugging. Oh, that's a clever idea. Yeah, it's probably really good at like browse or searching the internet for specific answers. Could do that way faster than a human could. So that makes sense. I like that idea. And it's funny, I left my software development full-time job before AI actually kind of kicked in and become really useful. It was starting to become useful at the time. Like I bet that some people at the job used like ChatGPT to generate like meeting notes, or maybe they use the Teams functions, or maybe I don't even know. But AI is so big now that it actually has some uses now. Before it was pretty gimmicky, but it can actually be useful now. But I left the industry before I could learn firsthand how people use it in a corporate setting, so I can't really speak on that. I once tried to use AI to find a bug in my code, and it tried to gaslight me by rewriting the code I gave it and then pointing out a bug in its own code instead of finding the bug in your original code. That sounds like AI. That sounds like AI for sure. The only AI I use for this game is I use GitHub Copilot for code completion. So, like, whenever you go to a new line, it's going to recommend some code. So, like, I could say player, or I'll say player : and then it basically just, or player.y equals, or how about move player closer to the mouse. So when you give it a prompt like this, I think that it's just going to generate some code. Yeah, it did. So I wrote this little comment that says move player closer to the mouse, and then now it gave me this like suggestion, this code suggestion snippet. And all it's doing is it's doing exactly what I told it to do. It's moving the player closer to the mouse. I don't know what this if statement's all about. I'm gonna remove this. And that's the thing, is all this code that I generate with GitHub Copilot, it's never perfect. It always has bugs. Like this is not what I want. I don't want it to be inside of a big if statement like that. We don't need that. But this is good. World chords. I think that's the right function. Yeah, it is. And then dist, get from to vector. Yeah, I wrote that function myself. And then if the length is greater than 100, then that's cool. Yeah. So like, GitHub Copilot is very cool with stuff like this because it's able to save you some time. But the thing is, you do still have to understand how to code because it's not going to be right all the time. And eventually we're going to reach the point where it is right all the time. But I still don't know how much of a reliance we should have on it in terms of learning. Lua seems pretty easy to read. Yeah, I'd say that that's one of its biggest pros, is that it's very human readable language. It's literally like reading a list of logic. If player.field and the field is equal to acid, then the player is going to get hurt. This is like reading English, basically. When I tried using DeepSeek, it surprisingly never made any errors. Whoop. Rip OpenAI. Let's see, Lua seems pretty easy to. I already read that. Sorry. On Helix Editor, I'm not familiar with that one. Reliance, no. Assistance, yes. Sure. And that's absolutely how I use it. I am not reliant on GitHub Copilot. I am not reliant on it at all. Like, if I turned it off, I probably wouldn't even notice it. The main thing that it's useful for is when I'm saying, like, player.x equals mx plus 32 times scale. And then, like, so since I did this for player.x, and then I type in player.y, it's able to figure out, it knows exactly what to type because I do stuff like this all the time where I change one thing for player.x and I do the corresponding thing for player.y. And GitHub Copilot is really good about figuring out these obvious, like, second lines. This is obvious, and it always gets this correct. And I always use GitHub Copilot to write these kinds of lines. But earlier when I showed that big, like, block of code, that big function, I wasn't super impressed with that one. Why don't I use a game engine? It's just because I like it this way. It's all about personal preference. Since they all can make good games, I figure that it makes more sense to use the one that I like the most. How would you go about creating content for a website platform you're coding? I'm trying to get the ball rolling, but a little scared of the camera. Oh, well, I'm scared of the camera too. I am not used to recording on film quite yet, because I only started doing that recently. But it's always about taking one step at a time. So there's no reason to be scared of it. Just post a video or post whatever it is that you're trying to post or build up. Just post one. Don't make it a big thing. Don't try and build it up. You don't even have to tell anyone about it. Just post it, and that'll be it. And then a week later, post again. And hopefully the second post is going to be better than your first post. And this is the same for any artist or video developer or game creator. You're building up skills over time. Like, building an audience is good too, but like, you take it one step at a time. It's okay to go slowly and just say, I'm going to post one small video today, and then 2 weeks from now, I'm going to post another small video. And as long as each video gets a little bit better than the last, because you're going to learn new things along the way, then you're totally fine. Like, there's no wasted time. There's no, like, you don't need to overwhelm yourself about any of this stuff. Just post and get better. But I see a lot of people putting a lot of pressure on themselves to make their dream game or their first project and make it perfect, and they fixate on really tiny details that they can't figure out, and it costs them so much time, when really it's just a matter of doing it. I don't know why I went up the elevator. I actually need to stay down here. I'm not paying attention. I like Framework because it's not bloated in features. That's the other thing, is that it is lightweight, and I do like that a lot. I'm on the fence about the transparent rolling. I'm probably going to tone it down. Actually, I could probably tone it down right now. Where would this be at? It would be in player draw. Player draw. So let's make this a little bit less. What do I think about Lua for 3D games? I've never used it for 3D games. I wouldn't use Love 2D for a 3D game. I honestly, for a 3D game, it's probably better to use a proper engine. Someone said Roblox. Making games in Roblox seems really efficient. And there's a lot of good ones. But yeah, I'd probably say a regular engine's better for 3D games. Just because 3D is so complicated and there's a lot of tools and features that a full proper engine, I think it would be too difficult or too tedious to figure out otherwise. But that's an opinion, because Thin Matrix would disagree with me. Thin Matrix would say it's totally worth it because he doesn't use any engine at all. He has his own custom engine for his games. I finally fixed OpenGL on my system. Awesome. Oh, I'm so bad at this. Thin Matrix 6 cracked? Yeah. I love his channel a lot. It's really, really good. How do free game engine companies make profit? Well, so they don't really make profit. So Love2D is open source. So if I can go to... I'm going to pull up the Love2D site. But since it's open source, pretty much most open source projects, they don't really make money. They are developed and maintained by a community and or a few people that own the project. So you can see here there's 90 contributors. So 90 people have written code that has gone into Love2D as an engine, and then just from there it's maintained, and we can look at the commit history actually. Slime73, I've talked to him before, and he does most of the work. Like, we can see most of these are from this one guy, Slime73. But yeah, it's an open source engine, it's free, and there's no obligation for them to make money, and I don't think they do make any money. Maybe there's a place to donate? Yeah, they have donations. So that's I think that this is the only way that they make money. And so it's just pure passion? Yeah, I think it is. Godot has donations as well. Yeah, Godot is the same way. Although Godot has a foundation, I think that Godot probably has some ways to monetize. I don't know that though. I try to be clear whenever I am not sure about something. I think that's a good habit to get into for most people, is to speak with confidence when you are confident, and speak with intrigue when you are not confident, because then people will take you more seriously when you do speak with confidence. If you speak with confidence and you say wrong stuff, then people won't take what you say seriously, because then they'll say, well, he says too much wrong stuff all the time. You know, Race M5 is in financial trouble right now. Oh no, that's sad. I wonder if Level will get more popular because of Balatro. I think it will, and you know, I hope when my game comes out, I hope it'll do the same thing. But I am happy that Balatro came out, because that's made it. It's made it a lot easier for me to justify using Love2D, because now finally I have an example of a game that uses this engine. Even though I've been I like, when did I make the Udemy course? I made the Udemy course 7 years ago. I made the Udemy course 7 years ago, and there were no commercial games for Love2D until now. It's sure there were commercial games before that, but Balatro is another thing. Like, Balatro is so big and so popular. It's shocking how big it got. That looks so bad. Maybe Balatro used your course? Maybe. That's within the realm of possibility. Yeah, nominated for Game of the Year. That's what I'm saying, is like that's so unusual. Oh, I need to fix that. Wolf reported that. I need to fix it. Oh, here's another bug. So since you're invincible while rolling, you can just like roll right into these and not take damage. But if you touch it, then you do take damage. This area is really dark. I think there needs to be some light source in here. It's just too dark. Ow. Another thing I need to work on is, look how bright this is. The way that multiple light sources overlap, like when it's a couple light sources overlapping, it looks pretty good. But in this case, I have 4 big flames, and they overlap and overexpose everything. Like, it's way too bright in the middle here because it's all overlapping in a major way. And I need to add some kind of cap on how bright things can get, because this just doesn't look right to me. Add a brightness bar in the settings. Yeah, I think that would be good. Well, so it's not that this area... It's not that I need a brightness bar. The brightness settings for the game is fine. It's that this area is just an underground cave. It's meant to be dark. I just think that it's too dark, or I need something else to... Something needs to change with the way I have it set up. I got the music thing working? Yeah. Well, really, yeah. I was having trouble connecting with YouTube, but now I got it working with YouTube. Is handling camera hard in Love 2D? Sort of. So, I have this file called Well, so this is Hump. So there's this library called Hump, and there's a camera library as a part of that. And I use this camera to do all my camera stuff. And then I have another file called Cam that uses that Hump camera. And it just... There's a lot of challenges when it comes to, like, moving the camera around to look at different things. So when the camera follows the player like this is easy. Setting up a camera like this is very easy. In fact, there's there's a video on my channel talking about how to set up a camera in Love 2D to follow you around. I do think it's a little challenging when I need to have like a little cutscene where the camera pans over to look at something else and then comes back. But I think that's going to be challenging to do in most engines. That doesn't seem like an engine or library limitation. That just seems like it's difficult to logically code something to change angles and move around and pan around. It's just difficult, I think. Because we always call the protagonist Lua. The protagonist is a virus messing about in a simulation. That's a funny idea. It is funny that the character, like, adopted the name Lua. I do always think that that's really funny. You have a small workaround for the no computer problem. It's just a lot. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I was gonna say, like, most devices can do most things, but having a proper computer is really important and nice. You definitely don't need a high-end computer, by the way. For anyone out there who's looking at computers, like, if I had to make this game with a $300 laptop, I could do it. I'm serious. I do not need anything better than this. But it is nice having a decent computer because, like, things load up faster and there's less hanging and things are just more snappy. It's nice to have a good computer, but not necessary at all. Your stream became a reason why I look forward to Monday. Awesome, thank you. That's really nice of you to say. New viewer here. Have I tried Pico 8? I have not tried it myself, but I have played a bunch of Pico 8 games, and I looked into it because I was thinking about learning it so I could make a Udemy course on it, but I decided against it just because it's a little bit too niche. But Pico 8 is awesome because it's also like Lua coding, and I like the simplicity and how toned down everything is. It's also pixel art, which is very appropriate for my type of game. So I think that I would love Pico 8 if I gave it a shot. If I could go back in time, I would get a way cheaper computer. Yeah, that's the thing, is that an $800 computer versus a $400 computer. An $800 computer can play games, but a $400 computer can do everything else that can do. And then you could spend that extra $400 on something else. Something more relevant or anything else that's going on in your life. Working on Pico 8 at the moment as I started game design. Awesome, that's cool. Is stream ending soon? Nope. I'm going for another 45 minutes. Favorite Joker? I actually don't know them off the top of my head. My PC cost me maybe 1.7K in total. That is pricey. Did not need an RTX 3070. Yeah, let's see. I'm using a 1080 Ti, I think. and I'm able to play every game that I could possibly want to play, but obviously I can't play on max settings. I can't even play on medium settings sometimes, but I can play everything that I want to play for sure. That's never been an issue. Basically, as long as I can run Neovim, Relib, Moonshire. Oh, awesome, thank you. I'm good. That's so kind of you. Isle of Goblin, yeah. That'd be a good one too. My PC cost me $100 plus $30 for the GPU. If it can run GTA 6, that would be sick. Do I have a video that introduces yourself to the channel? Not exactly, but really, I think that my most recent video on the channel, the devlog, I think that pretty nicely sums up what has been going on here for a while. The other video I think that's decent is the Steam release video from 1 year ago. It's from November of 2023. That video is decent too, because it kind of tells a little bit of the history of the project and what I went through in order to get here. It's great to hold on to your 1080 Ti. The current gen is so bad. Really? I'm actually not in the loop with all that. I'm curious what's bad about it. I mean, that is so buggy. I need to fix the dumb sunflowers. I do know that prices are bad. Yeah, prices with the GPU industry has been pretty crazy. That's for sure. Nvidia is greedy. I don't really know. Maybe. I think that the AI craze kind of participated in that as well. And then what is it? The DeepSeek drama that came out recently, that just adds extra drama to the pile. Wind Waker music makes you happy? Yes, it does. Makes me happy too. You remember how excited when I announced in a video that I was working full-time as a game developer? That's so awesome. That was a really exciting moment for me. It's something that I always wanted to do, and I'm very happy I was able to reach this point. But even still, the game doesn't make money. Like, I'm not making money from any of this game development stuff. A little bit from YouTube, but most of my, like, I live off of savings. I live off of investments. I spent a lot of time living well below my means so that I could pull this off. But I have to live cheap. I have to live on the cheap because I don't have an income anymore. It's a little bit scary. But it's worth every minute of it. It's worth all this. There's not really much stress because I planned it out so nicely. But it's worth all the effort is what I mean. It took a long time though. My laptop looks like it came from the depths of hell, half broken and scratched, yeah. So, and the funny thing is, this hopefully will be the worst computer you ever have to have. Hopefully from now on, it's only going to go uphill from here. And you can always look back and say, man, I used to have a computer that didn't even have a shift key. I had to use caps lock constantly. What a pain. And you can look back fondly on that. What kind of work did I used to do? Oh, I was a software developer. I worked for Microsoft. I think I'm going to... Income from YouTube isn't helping at all. It's helping a little bit, but I think I make like $300 a month from YouTube. I don't even think it's that much. It's less than $300. Am I allowed to show that? I can show it if it's relevant. But no, my channel does not make much money at all. I'm trying to find where it actually shows the number. Do they pay, I work for Microsoft, I'm so sorry. No, I loved working for Microsoft, it was great. Do I not have a pay? No, I don't need any donations. I might start channel memberships soon, but I don't need any income at the moment. How's the tile screen made? It's just a bunch of different layers in parallax. Sorry, I'm trying to find, I want to show how much the channel makes because I think that's relevant, but it doesn't say. Oh, analytics, maybe. Jeez, finally, that took forever. Sorry for the delay. It took me forever to find it. There we go. That's how much I make from YouTube per month. And if that looks like a lot of money to you, that is about 1/5 of my rent. So YouTube is not paying the bills at all, not even a little bit. But that's okay. Like I said, I spent a lot of time preparing for my journey into full-time development, and that's okay. And the other thing is I'm not intentionally monetizing it that much. Like, if you look through my videos, look at how long my videos are. They are under 8 minutes, and the videos that make a lot of money are over 8 minutes. They also have sponsors. I don't have any sponsors. I don't do any of that stuff because I don't want to. I prefer having my videos pure and good and simple and easy. And I'll grow my audience, and then once my game is done, I'll sell it, and maybe people will buy it. And if they don't buy it, that's okay too. I'll be okay. That's a lot of Doritos, at least. Yeah, exactly. I can buy a few packs of Doritos with my YouTube money. You might start uploading funny clips from streams or shorts. Yeah, I could start uploading more. And I also think that if I start doing channel memberships, that would be helpful too. But again, like, I want to be clear, like, I do want to become more of a business so I can earn an income and hire people, because I do want to hire someone to help me with editing soon. I'm not at that point quite yet. I need to work out the details. But the more money I'm able to earn from YouTube, the more money, or the more time and effort I'm able to put into the videos and have people help me out too. So it's worth my time doing that. It's just not something that I care too much about. Is this made in Unity? No, this is made in Love 2D. I don't think we mind if you made them longer so you can get a bit more money. Well, the thing is, longer videos also mean that they take more time to make. And part of the appeal of my videos is that they are very dense and thought out and entertaining the whole way through. There is very little downtime. And I try to, like if you watch my video too, count how many seconds between each clip there is. It's like 6 seconds per clip. And for an 8-minute video, or 7 minutes video, how many clips is that? And if it takes me like 5 minutes to set up for a clip and record it and get everything edited and put in, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of time. So it's not really, I'm not choosing to make them short for the sake of avoiding ads. I'm making them short because it's just so much work to make them longer. I taught you Love 2D. Cool. I'm glad that you were able to learn from some of my videos. For when you look for an editor, just upload some footage to a Google Drive and share the link to the Discord. Well, we'll see. What would be the main selling point of the game's story, gameplay, fighting, or exploration? Well, so I always talk about how the two main parts of the game are exploration and fighting, because let me go back to the main menu, actually. I'm going to start a new file again so we can go through the fights one more time. But the idea is you alternate between exploring for a bit, which is meant to be calm and just interesting, and then you get into a fight, which is like tense and actiony. So you alternate between slow-paced calm and fast-paced action. That's a good way to organize generally most games. Most movies are like that too. Like when you go to see an action movie in theaters, it's not non-stop action. It's not an action movie for the entire run of the movie. There are times of rest and recovery in between the action scenes, because non-stop action would be tiring. It would be very tiring. But story is something I care about too. It's just I care more about the presentation and the gameplay, and then narrative is going to come later to complement the gameplay. Turn-based programming, turn-based combat programming experience. I made a turn-based combat game in Game Maker, and it was bad. It was not good at all. But I guess you could call that experience, because I did do that. But I didn't code it in this. Oh, I made a Pokemon fan game too in Game Maker. and that was also turn-based. So I you know what? I'm gonna change my mind. If I can make a Pokemon fan game in Game Maker, then I can make a turn-based game. That's for sure. Turn-based combat is fun. Yeah, I love turn-based combat. Well, it depends on the game because, like, just this weekend I was playing Metaphor ReFantazio because it got nominated for Game of the Year and I wanted to try it out. And I was playing it, and the combat system in Metaphor ReFantazio is so much fun. It is so clever, and I love it so much. But it has a lot of moments in the game that I don't like. Like, I think the characters in that game have the weirdest designs that I don't really like. And the story isn't hitting me quite as good as, like, the Persona series, because it's the same setup. So I decided to... I think I'm going to call it quits. I really do like the combat in the game, though. Mario, Luigi, Paper Mario. Oh, I love those games. Yeah, because there's interactivity with the battles. There's some timing. You have to time your jumps, or you have to time your dodges. Especially with Mario and Luigi, when you dodge enemy attacks. I thought that was amazing when Superstar Saga came out. I don't know. Have I managed to fund my project? It's just a matter of saving up money. Because... how can I explain this nicely? Because indie games don't normally make very much money. I haven't made any money from this game yet, except for like the YouTube videos, which I just show that they don't really make much money. So the question is, how do I fund this project? Like, I'm working on it full time. How do I fund it when I haven't released the game yet? And the sad answer is, I worked full time as an employee at a job for years. For years and years and years. And during that time, I was very conscious about how much money I was saving, about how much I was spending, and how much I was investing. I learned a lot about how to use like a 401k, how to put money away in a savings account and put it into a brokerage account, and make sure that it's being invested in a safe, reasonable, but good way so that you can still get that growth. So I'm able to fund this game from all of those years of saving back money, and now I can just spend all my time working on this game without having to be distracted by other stuff. And that's a luxury that a lot of games don't have, because money is like a big component here. If you have a team of developers, you have to pay them money to keep working for you, otherwise they're gonna leave and go get a job. So if you can't do that, if you don't have the money ready to spend, then it's just not going to work out. And I think that's the step that a lot of people want to skip. Like, they jump straight into publishers, or they find some way to just start making a full-scale big game with a team of people right away. But that's a risky move, because what are the odds that the game actually completes and gets finished? And what are the odds that it actually makes money and is profitable? How many indie games release that don't make money, or they don't even release in the first place, that things get messed up during development and things go south? It just happens a lot. So that's why I'm into this idea of saving up ahead of time. Like, don't get a publisher, because you're just gonna get yourself into a bad deal. And don't take out a loan. That would be unbelievably dumb. Please don't do that. It's better to be disciplined about your finances so that you can do this safely and assuredly. Because if you jump into it without the confidence that you'll be able to fund the project all the way to the end, then you're gonna be rushed. You're gonna trick yourself into making the wrong moves. Working full-time doing art for games myself, and then doing my game on the side with free time. I think that's the best strat for most people. Gotta go see you next Monday. Thanks for being here. I appreciate that. Can't afford to just save at the moment, unfortunately. I mean, yeah, it's hard. It's hard saving Monday. It's hard saving money. It's hard prioritizing all these things, because, like, the way I described it makes it sound easy, but it's not. Obviously, saving money, living on less than what you make, is not easy. It requires a lot of discipline, because you're going to be tempted to go out with your friends all the time, go out to eat every single day. You're going to be tempted to go on vacations. You're going to be tempted to, I don't know, do what other things suck money out of your wallet. It's so easy to fall into that trap. And what people do is that they just make up, they try to make more money to make up for that, like to make up for all the spending that they do. So then they end up making like $80,000 per year, but they're still living paycheck to paycheck because they're spending all their money on car payments, or I don't know, or credit card payments, or their mortgage, or there's all kinds of stuff that people just like to buy. And my advice is just try to keep your priorities straight. If your priority is to become a game developer full-time, maybe having a car payment isn't worth it. Maybe you don't need a new car. Maybe you only need to have something that's like cheap and easy. Because like and the reason I harp on that is because when I was in college, right after I graduated, I needed to buy a new car, and I had a choice in that moment because I could have qualified easily. I had a great job lined up. I could have easily qualified for a brand new, awesome, nice car. I could have got something awesome. But I chose not to do that. I chose to go with a $10,000 used car that was already pretty old at that point. It was a used, crappy car. Well, it wasn't that crappy, but it was a $10,000 car. And I have no regrets on that at all. I'm so happy with that purchase. If I had chosen to go the more expensive route and buy something brand new, that would have been fine. I could have afforded it, but maybe it would have taken me an extra 6 months before I could have gone full time. And you keep making decisions like that. You make the same choice about your house or vacations or about your job choices or about whatever other financial aspects are in your life. If you keep making choices that suck the money out of your wallet, it's going to take you forever to reach this point. But I kind of min-maxed it where I didn't spend money on literally anything. I was living the pauper lifestyle where I just wasn't doing anything, and I loved it. It was great, but it's not for everyone, and it's not easy to avoid all of these costs. It's not easy to earn a high income either. It takes a lot of work, and I give this advice in this way because I don't want people going into game development thinking that's going to make them money, because I've been doing this my whole life and I still haven't made any money with it. So that makes me think that most people probably won't as well. And if that's the case, I want to make sure that the financial choices that they're making in their life is responsible enough to supplement that. What microphone do I use? This is AT2020. A goodie, or an oldie but a goodie. It's classic. I recommend AT2020 to anyone. I really love this microphone. Just ended up still making it. Yeah, thanks for being here. Have a nice day. Thank you for being here. A Palorus. Me personally, I would get a car that is comfortable enough and has good mileage. But that's the thing is, the way I see it, a car is a tool to get you from one location to another location. And like a $50,000 car is going to do just as good of a job with that as a $10,000 car, you know, within reason. If don't buy a car that's going to break down on you, obviously. But a $50,000 car, it's really easy to get qualified for a loan like that. In America, at least. They love handing out car loans to anyone. I mean, you can make all the assets for yourself for free, except for rent. Well, that's the thing is I'm living very, very low cost of living. So I showed that income from YouTube. It's like $250, and that's not enough to cover my rent. It's not even enough to cover my food. It's very, very little money. What am I doing? I'm just kind of wandering around. How did I implement those falling particles? I implemented them. They're just, it's a system where it's constantly generating a bunch of these effect particles, and they're falling from the sky. So I'll show that in a second. And when I say falling from the sky, that doesn't mean they're actually, because there's no sky, there's no up and down. It's just, it's a flat image, right? So it's not falling from the sky. All of those snowflakes that we see on screen right now, they are just moving from upper left to, like, down right. They're just going from up here to down here. And they're just flowing in that direction really smoothly and softly. And that's what causes that to work out. Sorry, I accidentally clicked away, so I got hit a bunch. Do I have experience with Godot engine? Not personally, no. All that I know about it is that it's growing in popularity and everyone's using it. I think it's a great engine. It seems like it is, at least, but I haven't personally used it. I want to use it to practice with 3D game development, because after I'm done with this game, I really want to make a 3D game. Ah. Have I played Cult of the Lamb? Yes. You thought I might like it? It's funny that you say that, because Cult of the Lamb was the game that inspired me to take this game in a whole new direction. So I'm actually going to pull up the video so I can prove it to you, how influential Cult of the Lamb was for this game specifically. Because I really, really love that game. And let's see. The game used to look like this, but I'm trying to remember which version has the Cult of the Lamb music. My Zelda-like game? One of them I talk about Cult of the Lamb a lot. I can't remember which one it is. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, it's in this video right here. So in this video, I'm talking about how my game is a lot like a regular classic Zelda game, because this is what the game used to look like. And I'm talking about like Link to the Past, and then I talk specifically next about Cult of the Lamb, and how I really, really love the combat in that game so much, because you can attack in any direction. In the classic Zelda games, you can only attack up, down, left, and right, but in Cult of the Lamb and Hyper Light Drifter, you can attack in any direction. And I love that idea so much that I redid the whole game, and I think this video kind of talks about the whole process. It's funny seeing some of, like, the eyeball enemy is still in the game. That looks funny. And then I show the transformation. The new graphics. Did they show the new character? Whoa. Looks kind of cool. Yeah, and there's my new character. This is so crazy. This is from September 14th, 2022. 2022. So I've been working on this a while. That's for sure. Willy Mimith, hi. How do you set up your require.lua file so that you don't need to use a bunch of require statements? I don't. I still do a bunch of require statements. Check it out. So my require file, all it is, it's a global function called require all. And look, I'm just calling require on every single file. That's it. And then in a different file, in like game start, I think, I call this function. So that's how I do requirements in my game. What was the most difficult mechanic you made? I think the most difficult mechanic is the damage snap, or the attack snapping. Let me show that. So if you look really, really closely, the player scoots forward a little bit when you attack. But if there's an enemy in front of you, that scoot is more of like a dash. It like fully dashes. And the way it works is you can see there's like lines pointing out. Those lines are looking for enemies. And if those lines connect with an enemy, then you get launched forward so that your attack is more likely to connect. Yeah, so you're able to snap towards the enemy. I think that was one of the more difficult aspects, but at the same time, it still needs work, because I like testing this out, and there's still some times where it's not getting hit. Yeah, like right there. It's not bad. Actually, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Was Moonshire originally meant to be just a little project for fun? It was originally meant to be a teaching tool. I originally meant Moonshire to be, well, because it started off as like a Zelda fan game, and what I wanted to do was make a fan game, make it open source, and then make like videos about it. Like just so I could teach people how to use Love2D. And that's what I did for a long time, and I made videos teaching people how to make that stuff. But at some point, I'm like, well, I can take this in a new direction that's fresh and unique, and that's where it came from. I'm making a game with Unity. What do you recommend to keep your project organized? With Unity specifically, I'm not sure. I've never made a Unity full project. But in general, it's just a matter of making sure you plan ahead of what folders you need, what object types there are, and how you can reuse stuff in multiple ways. Because if you have one sprite that basically looks the same as another sprite, ideally you find a way to make them both work for the same thing. The axe is so cool. Thanks. Yeah, I love the axe. Is there any famous open source game? I'm sure there are. Let's research that. Famous open source games. I bet there's some. If anyone thinks of something. But in the meantime, I'm just gonna look at this list. I'm not recognizing any of Friday Night. There's no way Friday Night Funkin' is open source. No way. Is Friday Night Funkin' open source? There's no way. MIT. The game is also open source? I cannot believe that. I had no clue that this game was open source. That's amazing. Wow. Very, very cool. Well, I didn't know that. What else we got here? This is a Love2D game. It's Mario, but with portals. Not recognizing these. Stepmania. It's not bad. Worms? Worms? It's not like the Worms Armageddon. This is different. I think, right? It's an abstract. Oh, it's a game of life game. Yeah, that's not what I'm thinking of. I was thinking of like Worms Armageddon. Okay, well, I'd say my answer to that question is Friday Night Funkin' is the most famous open source game. OpenTTD? I've never heard of that. OpenTTD. Yeah, I've never heard of that game. Acceleration and deceleration aren't that relevant in my opinion. It depends on what it's for, because there is acceleration and deceleration in my game. So if you look really closely, when you stop moving, the player slides to a stop. It decelerates. It doesn't stop immediately. There's a little bit of a slide. And it's going to be different from game to game, where some games have a little bit of a startup animation or a startup speed. Like when you play Mario, Mario doesn't immediately jump to max speed. He has to accelerate up to max speed. In my game, I think my character does go to max speed immediately, but stopping does not decelerate. It doesn't. It has to decelerate to a stop. Apparently the new Deltarune chapters could be coming early/mid 2025. I mean, that would be really cool. That'd be really cool. I would pay some big bucks to play those. I really love chapter 1 and 2, especially 2. I think 2 is perfect. I really love Deltarune. 4 days ago, I was freed from the Pirate Software Game Jam 16. 9 hours early, awesome. Well, that's a lot of work getting through a game jam like that. But congrats, that's so cool. What would you rate Undertale 1 to 10? I don't like rating games, so can I show you how I rate games? My rating scale for games is very simple. Because IGN rates games from 1 to 10. And the problem with this scale is that 10 equals perfect, 9 equals great, 8 equals good, 7 equals fine, and 6 and anything less than or equal to 6 means bad. So this is why I don't like the IGN 1 to 10 rating scale, is because there's basically only it's not really used very well. So my rating scale, the way that I rate games is it's bad, it's fine, it's good, or love it. There's only 4 scores. That's all that I think that I personally need to rate a game. Is the game bad? Because bad incorporates 1 through 6 on a scale of 1 to 10. Like, if a game's bad, I don't need to get any more into it. It's bad. If a game's fine, that's like, I don't know, I'm trying to think of a fine game. Like Starfield, that game's fine. A good game is a game that I like, but it's not fantastic. A good game is like, I don't know, Let's Go. We're listening to a song from Pokemon Let's Go. I like Pokemon Let's Go. I think that game is good, but I don't love it. A game that I love is Elden Ring. So this is how I rank games, because it's a lot easier. A 1 through 5 score, that makes sense too. That's how like Video Game Donkey does it. It's 1 to 5. And the reason why I like a level like this is because people see 7. Like, they gave Starfield a 7. And people lost their minds because 7 sounds like 7 should be good, but in the gamer's eyes, 7 is like not a good score at all. But yet 7 means above average. 7 means good. It just doesn't really mean that in the gamer space. Why do you need 10 points if you're judging 6 as 1 and 10 as 5? Yeah, basically, exactly. Ow. A sushi restaurant inspired by Haunted Chocolatier? Awesome, that's cool. I am excited for Haunted Chocolatier. I mean, we don't know anything about it, but I really like Stardew Valley, and if it's anything like that, I'm sure I'll love it. Oh, then what is Undertale? My bad, I forgot to answer that question. Love it. I love Undertale. Undertale is a love it. So, if we were giving it a 1 to 10 scale, like a 9 or a 10, I really love Undertale. That probably would have been a quicker answer. I just wanted to go on my tangent about ranking games, because like I was reading through IGN reviews recently, and I'm like, man, they're just giving everything. There's no games that they rank less than 7. If they rank a game less than 7, then they're basically saying it's unplayable. What country am I from? I'm from the US. I think your generic rating system is better, and usually how normal people talk about games. That's what I mean. Is like, when you're talking with people, like, they ask you, what did you think of that game? Or what did you think of that movie? They don't say, I think it was about a 9 out of 10. Or maybe they do. Maybe they give number scores. But I think a more natural communication is you ask someone, how did you like that movie? And they say, I liked it. Or it was fine. Or I didn't like it. Or I loved it. I think that those are the proper responses, and I think that those accurately sum up how people feel about whatever it is that they just saw. What's my day job? I don't have one anymore. This is my full-time job now. Probably gonna be wrapping up stream in about 10 more minutes. One thing I want to add at some point is, so look how, no, not a good example, not a good example. Okay, actually, not a bad example. So this greatsword is sitting here right now, but if I walk over here, and then I walk back, the sword's gone. I think I want to add something where it keeps track of temporary weapon spots, so that if you like leave an area and come right back, it'll still keep everything the same. Did I play Hollow Knight, and what would be my rating? Also, love it. Love Hollow Knight so much. Easily. It's one of my top 5 games. Undertale isn't a game, it's art pure gold. I mean, it is still a game, though, because it has gameplay. Like, the battles are fun. If Undertale wasn't fun to play, it would not have gotten popular, I promise you that. The story is very good, but you still need a good game to supplement that good story. Brothership is amazing. Yeah, isn't that funny? IGN gave that game a 5. but I've been hearing only good things about it. It's so funny how everyone can have their own experiences with different games. And that's why I like my rating system, because they're more subjective. It's like, I love it, I like it, I don't like it. It's very simple. Like, I can't imagine Brothership being bad where you need to give it a 5 out of 10. But whoever was reviewing it must just have had specific issues that he didn't like. Can you tell me how you're planning the game? You did a prototype? Yeah, so I did a prototype, and now it's like, now I'm at the point where I'm planning out all the levels. So in this map is very rough, but it is a general idea. It's a grid layout. So I'm figuring out where each level is going to go, how they connect with each other, and then filling in all the gaps, because there's a lot that goes into planning out a game. The other thing is that you can't plan it out. You have to kind of just start making it, and then you'll learn things while you're planning it, or while you're developing it. Because you can plan things out all you want, but it just, there's too much that you figure out while you're working. Hardly any of the stuff that I planned for made it to the final game. Is Lua specifically used for game dev? Not specifically, but it's used in Roblox and it's used in Love 2D. And actually, it's used in lots of games. It's used as like a supporting scripting language for certain games. It was used in World of Warcraft. It was used in Dark Souls. So, like, Lua is actually used in lots of games. In fact, let me look at that list. Lua in game development. There's a Wikipedia article. Lua in game development, Wikipedia. Actually, well, this is just a list of applications. Oh, this is okay. So there's two articles. This is just software that uses it, which, like, we're seeing Photoshop, Lightroom, Apache. We're seeing Cheat Engine. Cocos uses Lua. That's cool. CryEngine. Oh, look who's back. Friday Night Funkin' again. Psych Engine uses Lua for stage building, so-called mod charts, and multi-song functionality. Oh, okay, so people use Lua for Friday Night Funkin' to, like, make their custom stages, their custom songs. Gary's mod, that's a good one. Let's see, Minecraft mods. I'm not recognizing a lot of these. Roblox we already talked about. SkylaDB, that's alright. It's kind of old school. Waze, that's funny. Warframe, okay. VLC, Vim. Okay, yeah, you know what? Lua has lots of applications, that's not bad. But then this is the list of games that uses it. And there's a lot of really, really good ones. Angry Birds, we got Baldur's Gate, BeamNG. What else we got? Civ. We got Civ 5, Civ 4, or Civ 6. Dota 2. Elder Scrolls Online. Fable 2. Far Cry. Gary's Mod. Grim Fandango. This is a lot of games using Lua, so... Like, this is a lot of... The thing is, it's not that all of these games were made with Lua. It's that they use Lua as part of development. That could mean a lot of things. That could mean it's used for mods, or that could mean it's used for, like, scripting with the database, or scripting with their websites or their servers, or some kind of connection codes, connecting with libraries. Because, like, World of Warcraft wasn't made in Lua. It just has Lua utilized as part of the whole, like, end-to-end process. Have I played Hades? Yes, I love Hades. I've gotten lots of clears on Hades. I never got the full credits because you need to beat the game a bunch of times. I probably gotten 3 or 4 clears on Hades, but I never gotten the full ending. What do you think about Danny? Yeah, is he the creator of Crab Game? Which Crab Game? There's actually a lot of Crab Games now, but I've seen Danny's channel. His videos aren't exactly for me because his videos are more like, are they like challenge videos, or they're very YouTubey. is what I mean. And they don't seem like they're quite for me. How do you deal with negative feedback on my projects? Well, thankfully, I don't get too much negative feedback, but when I do, I try to take everything objectively. So if someone's giving me negative feedback, I really do try to see it from their perspective, because they're not giving me negative feedback for no reason. They're doing it for a reason, so something must be bothering them, and I like to see what it is specifically. And if I think that they have a point, then I'll look into it and probably do something about it. But if I think that they don't have a point, or they don't understand what they're talking about, or sometimes they just don't even have all the context. Like, maybe they think the game has a different style to it or a different goal than what I'm planning for. And since they don't know that, that kind of changes their opinion a little bit in the wrong way. They just don't know what I'm planning. So since that's the case, I understand that everyone has their own perspective. And I myself am pretty critical of like games and development. I shouldn't say I'm mean. I'm definitely not mean, but I like to criticize, and like when I'm watching a movie or I'm playing a game, I like to point out flaws. So since I do that, I'm perfectly okay with people doing that with my game, because overall it's a net positive. If people are pointing out flaws with if people are pointing out flaws with my game, then all that means is I'm more aware of those flaws and I'm more inclined to fix them. So I think it's a win-win. Danny is the game dev who puts funny videos about devlogs. He created a crab game which involves Squid Game. Oh, okay. Then no, I think I'm unfamiliar. If Minecraft Java was made with Java, does that mean Minecraft Bedrock was made with Bedrock? I don't know. Minecraft creator Notch started a new game using JavaScript. Yeah, I saw that he was working on a new project. I saw like all the articles said, Notch creator plans out Minecraft 2. Even though that's not quite exactly what he said. The way he phrased it was pretty funny, though. Gotta go have a good night. Thanks for being here. Appreciate that. Hey, so I'm getting into this like I'm a baby. I know like practically nothing. I was wondering if you had any insight on where I should start. Yeah, and on my Discord server, I have a Getting Started article, or a Getting Started channel that has a bunch of information that might answer some of those questions. But I always recommend just download any of these engines, any of the, like, Game Maker, or Construct, or Unity, or Godot. They're all free. All of these things are free completely. You can just download it for free and install it and run it. And once you have it running, look up a YouTube tutorial for how to make a very, very simple game. Look up how to make Pong in Godot or Pong in Game Maker. There's going to be a bunch of videos on YouTube that show you how to do that. And when you follow along with that, you'll start getting a little bit of a feel for how the engine works and how games are put together. And it's just a matter of doing that over and over again. Do that for months and years even, until you build up all the skills to get used to it. It takes a long time, but it's worth the input. I love making games. I've been making games since I was a kid, so even kids are able to do this. Some engines are easier than others. That's why I like calling out Game Maker specifically. I think it's my favorite one to recommend to total newcomers because it's really approachable. What do I think is the best 2D platformer? Probably Celeste. I think it's the tightest. I really like Celeste. After Pong, you move on to slightly bigger games, then to original games, and so on. Yeah, exactly. The biggest step is moving on to original games. And we're talking about original small games, too. We're not talking about, like... I don't think anyone should be tackling a game as big as Moonshire, even within the first few months. I think that's still too big. We're talking about original games, because when you follow along with a tutorial, you're able to pick up on some of the fundamentals, but you don't really internalize everything until you do it fully on your own. So eventually you do have to stop watching tutorials and just sit down with your engine and make something. And it's going to be bad. It's the same as if you were learning how to paint and you sat down with your first canvas. It's not going to look very good. It's okay. But if you do that every week or every however often, you'll build up the skills and get better over time. What's my game size? Like the data size? It's about 50 megabytes, I think. Or like the pixel size, it's like the tiles are 16 by 16. Never played Celeste. I think Celeste is amazing. It's worth playing. I really love it. I'm currently doing this 20-game challenge I found. It's a great challenge and encourages you to teach yourself instead of just following tutorials. I think that's awesome. Yeah, and teaching yourself is a big aspect of this because when you follow tutorials, sometimes the information goes in one ear and right out the other. And when you have to do it on your own, and there's not someone telling you what to do, like that's no longer an option. The information has to go in one ear and stay there, because if it goes out the other ear, you won't be able to make a game. So eventually you do have to turn off the tutorials and just try making some small, simple project on your own, and it's going to be very hard. Even if you're making Space Invaders, it's going to be very hard to make, but that's where the learning comes from. Music's a bit loud. Yeah, you're right. The song is too loud. Thanks for pointing that out. Download side, yeah, it's all about 50 megabytes. It's not very big. Can you explain how the mob movement / fighting works? Yeah, so the mobs are all coded to behave in a challenge scenario. So if I can't remember if I'm able to show this. Oh, actually, you know what I should show? I should show the tile states. So the enemies figure out where to go based on tile states. So you can see here that every tile has a state. Like if it's blue, then that means it's water. If it's gray, then that means it's empty. And if I think I can start a fight over here. No, I can't. We're at the end of stream, so I can't show too much, but basically all of the enemies, they see all these dots. They have access to all this dot information. If a dot is orange, then that means that dot is able to see the player, and it would be a good location for that enemy to walk towards. So it analyzes all this dot data and uses that to determine what the best direction to jump or move or go towards the player. And yeah, like you said, it's a proximity check. So if the enemy is close enough to the player, then it's going to perform its tackle. Or if it's a projectile attack, then it's like a really far distance. As long as you're far away, it'll perform the attack. The thing with Godot is that they changed a lot with version 4. A lot of the tutorials are made for 3. I still bet that there's a lot of relevant information for the updated versions, but I understand what you mean. That was a problem when Game Maker switched to Game Maker Studio 2. It was a little bit different, but still, a lot of the fundamentals, I imagine, are very similar. I'm struggling with game design. Anything that I develop at some point, I don't feel it as fun as my head. Well, yeah, the idea is always stick with something small and easy at first. Game ideas are hard to, like, confirm. You don't know if an idea is good until you implement it. And the fact that you can implement it and then you find out it's not fun, that's normal. That's fine. It's helpful to figure out what makes it unfun. Like, if there's a specific part about it that you don't like, that is helpful to, like, think about and figure out, is there something that you can change about it to make it better? But if not, it really is a matter of just trying out different ideas until you find one that is fun. Because I come up with that a lot. If you look through my videos from the past couple years, I talk a lot about new ideas, like the jewelry system. I thought that would be awesome, but I completely removed that because it ended up being annoying. I thought the idea was great, but it ended up not being fun. And so it's something that you never really get rid of. You're always going to have that problem. But it is a good habit to get into testing things out, seeing if it's fun. And if it's not fun, just see if you can identify what exactly makes it not fun. And if you can, see if you can fix it. Someone says there's more tutorials like Godot 4. I imagine it's like for specific topics. I think a lot of people, they look up like, how do I make a Pokemon game in Godot? And then they'll find a tutorial on that. And I don't recommend doing that, by the way. Don't look up, how do I make a Zelda game in Love 2D? You're not going to find anything useful. It's better to actually learn how to make games, and then you'll be able to answer that question yourself. But it takes a long time. But yeah, on that note, I think I'm going to end stream for today. We've been streaming for over 2 hours, and I think that we reached a good stopping point. But thank you all so much again for being here. It was a great stream. Had a lot of folks here today. I really, really appreciate that. And as always, I will be back again next week for yet another Moonshire Monday. Thanks again for everyone for being here. We got Soda, we got Kumano, Wellthrill, Modded Shadow. Thank you again. I will be back next week, and I'll see you then. Daniel, Alex, thank you again. I'll see you then. Bye, everyone.